Just what did happen to Travis Walton on the 5th of November 1975? "22-year-old Travis Walton was working as a logger with co-workers Mike Rogers, who was the boss and personal friend of Travis Walton, Ken Pearson, John Glent, Steve Pierce, Alan Dallas, and Dwight Smith. The 7 men was working as part of a timber stand improvement crew in the Apache Stingreaves National Forest near their hometown of Snowflake, Arizona. Their logging contract was one of the most lucrative contracts that Mike Rogers and his crew had ever received from the Forest Service. They had fallen behind their work schedule, and this put a great deal of pressure on them to work longer hours. When the men broke up for the day, just after 6 p.m, they climbed into their truck and started heading home. It was at this point that Travis Walton believes that when the UFO struck him with the beam of light, that the aliens killed him, and this is why he was taken on board to bring him back to life. Not knowing what else to do, they drove into town and they decided they had no choice but to call the police. After contacting the police, Rogers and his crew was first questioned by a local deputy before they met with Sheriff Marlin Gillespie, who noticed that the men was very frightened. That night, Rogers and his crew led Sheriff Gillespie and a handful of deputies to the spot where the object had been, but failed to locate Travis, and there was no sign of the disc. They returned to town and began organising a larger search party for the next day. It was winter in the area, and temperatures in the mountains were known to plummet below zero, so there was an urgency to find Travis quickly. Dogs and helicopters were eventually used in the search, and it was one of the biggest searches ever in Arizona's history, but no evidence of Travis or the disc was found. As the search continued, Rogers and his crew were finding themselves being questioned more and more by the police, and in a manner that the police suspected foul play, and that maybe one of the crew had accidentally killed Travis, buried his body, and made up the whole story about the UFO. The police decided to bring in polygraph expert Cy Gilson to administer a lie detector test. Rogers and his crew was eager to take the polygraph test to prove that what they were saying was true. Although Alan Dallas's polygraph was a bit inconclusive, as he had past altercations with Travis, but all other 5 passed their polygraph tests.
woke up, I thought I was in hospital. I was on a table on my back, and as I focused, I saw 3 figures. It was weird. They weren't human. They looked like fetuses to me, about 5 feet tall, and they wore tight-fitting tan brown robes. Their skin was white like a mushroom, but they had no clear features.
Walton then explained that he felt an overwhelming sense of panic and reached out for a transparent tube-like object nearby. He attempted to smash it and use it as a weapon, but it wouldn't break. However, it seemed to startle the alien beings, and they scurried away, leaving Travis alone in the room for a short while. Then a 4th being appeared, different to the other ones. This being was more human looking and wore a blue spacesuit and a transparent helmet. This being seemed to have a calming effect over Travis and led Travis into another room.
There was a high-backed chair in the middle of the room with buttons on one arm and a lever on the other. The man left as suddenly as he had arrived, and I began playing with buttons. I pushed the lever and the scene outside suddenly changed. I felt we were moving. I know we were in a spaceship. Then things went black again.
Travis then explained that after he blacked out, the next thing he knew was that he was lying in the road next to the Exxon garage in Heather, and that he managed to get a glimpse of the craft as it silently took off. Then, on the night of November the 10th, 1975, Walton's sister received a phone call that changed everything. It was a phone call from Travis Walton. Travis seemed very shaken up on the phone, but managed to explain that he was at an Exxon garage in the town of Heather, and he had no idea how he got there. When his family drove to the garage to pick him up, Travis had no idea that 5 days had passed. Travis Walton's abduction has become the most famous UFO abduction case of all time, and was made more famous with the book and the film Fire in the Sky. Thanks for watching, Conspiracy Team.